I'm Matt Harnack, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first episode of DIY or Die, the series that shows you how to do it yourself or face the consequences. Because the truth is, we all pay for those guaranteed low prices. Hidden in the same-day delivery box is the cost of human exploitation, air and water pollution, and toxic materials that will pollute our world for generations. So before you press buy it now, ask yourself, is it worth the real cost of buying cheap? And then follow up by asking yourself if you can instead do it yourself. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make an N95 equivalent mask with a replaceable filter. And the best part is that they're breathable, they're comfortable, they're upcycled, and they're beard friendly. Let's get started. Here's your parts and tools list for the project. You're going to need a few sheets of standard printer paper, some paper tape, a needle and thread, some filter material. This is a vacuum cleaner bag that's HEPA grade, a box of pins, some craft wire, Velcro, rough and fuzzy sides, 10 centimeters, a pencil, a seam ripper, a measuring tape, a garment. This is one of those jeans with an elastic band, wire cutters, a ruler or straight edge, and a pair of fabric scissors. Also, a sewing machine is really helpful for this project, and I've got this elastic strap that I'm going to use. It goes around your head to secure the mask. So the next thing you're going to need to do is draw a pattern. So I've got a link to the file below, but I've got an even easier way for some people to get a pattern. If you have the ability to cast to your screen with Chromecast or even an HDMI cable, you can pull up this video or press pause in the video right here. And then what you're going to want to do is take 2 sheets of paper and tape them directly to your TV. We're just going to try to size this so that it matches. And I'm using the pinch function on my laptop. I recommend using a pencil, but I'm going to use a Sharpie because I want you to be able to see it. The first thing I'm doing is I am outlining the seam allowance. It's the line that goes along the pattern. It's a centimeter, and it allows you to sew the pattern together in a way where at the edges aren't going to fray. And there you go, your pattern. If you're planning on making more than one mask, what I recommend doing is using this pattern to make additional patterns from, so you don't have to be connected to the TV. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the elastic that's inside of here. Don't stab yourself. Keep your fingers out of the way. You know what? This is taking way too long. You know, part of this is you gotta be efficient. You know, if something's taking too long, you know, you only got so much human time on this planet. Things gotta be quick too. So the next thing I wanna do is prepare my fabric. I've chosen a pair of jeans because it's a really good garment that is breathable. Everybody has access to jeans that they don't wear anymore. And I really like the way the seam looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pattern twice, once here and once here, and then that's going to become my mask. And when I sew it back together, this seam is going to go all the way across and behind my head, and it just adds to the look of the mask. It looks really cool. Now cut out the pattern along the seam allowance. This part right here is for the label. Next, let's get our fabric ready. I'm lining up the jeans along the center line of the pattern, and then I'm going to double over the fabric so I have enough for 2 sides of the mask along the same seam. Once I'm sure I have enough fabric for both sides, I'm going to cut the leg off of the jeans. And if you have enough fabric, you might be able to get away with having a really short pair of cutoffs. Next, open up the leg of the jeans by cutting a line all the way up. Fold your fabric in half, make sure everything is symmetrical, and pin your pattern into place, making sure that the center line is right along this seam. You're going to want to make sure that the pattern is very secure and add pins all the way around the pattern. Once it's pinned in place, get your fabric scissors and begin cutting the fabric along the pattern. Next, take out the pins, remove your pattern, and I'm just going to finish this by cutting the pattern apart. And these are both sides of your mask. They line up pretty well. And real quick, I'm going to do the label. Next, let's figure out where the Velcro is going to go. What you have to do is put one on the outside and one on the inside. It doesn't really matter which side, but I like to put the rough side on the inside and the fuzzy side on the outside. Then go ahead and pin your Velcro into place. And now you're ready to sew your Velcro on. So then what I need to do is sew this line on both of these. Okay, what you're going to do, take out the pins and cut off the extra seam allowance. You don't want to cut off too much of the seam allowance because your seam could fray. So you want to make sure that there's enough fabric on the inside. I usually do about 1/2 centimeter after I'm done. So now this is going to get turned back inside out. Okay? It's kind of hard to get past the Velcro. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Wiggle those corners. The smaller your straps are, the harder it is to pull it through. All right, so now face the outside of the fabric towards each other. Now pin the fabric. You can go all the way until you get to the end, right here. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to check the fit of the mask, but you've got a bunch of pins in here, so just make sure you don't stab yourself. So be very gentle. Be gentle during this part of it. So that feels pretty good, you know? I know I have enough room down here, right? It's pretty close to my face, right? Pretty close to my face. And it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go with yes, that's a good fit. First, drop your needle. Set your foot down. Back it up. Go forward. Lift your foot. Back down. Drop your needle. Lift up. Turn. Back down. Go. Round the corner. Round the corner. Keep rounding. Keep going. Keep going. Make sure you are going in a straight line now. And go all the way. All the way. And then once you get close to the end, back it up. And lift up your needle. Pull. Cut. Remove your pins. And then reverse it. So I'm going to check the fit one more time. Okay. Now, it's a good fit down here, but what I'm noticing is that there's a little extra right here, right? So it's good around the nose, but I think I want to take off a little bit here. About that much. This is the most important stitch. So you want to sew another line anyway. Turn. Should have had my needle dropped when I was turning. Turn. Let's go one more. Turn, needle drop. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this in a little bit more. And I'm bringing this in. This is going to be tighter. Now, I don't want it to be tighter around my chin. I just want it to be tighter in front of my chin. So now, once I get to the bottom, I want to keep it the same. Reverse it. Cut it. I'm just going to do one more line along this area to reinforce it. Okay. Go ahead and cut off the extra seam allowance. Ah, shoot. Oops. It doesn't matter, because that's going to be hidden. That's going to be hidden anyway. That's fine. Next, you're going to cut this up until the top. Not quite all the way. Like that. Same thing with the other side. And then, take your elastic strap, tuck it in, and then start pinning it to your fabric. give yourself a little extra to tuck it under. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do, get your wire and measure 10 centimeters of wire. And then take the ends of your wire and bend them over. So this way, this is going to go over your nose, and you don't want these poking your skin. I want to have a strap that holds the whole mask in place. So it's going to kind of go around like this. It's going to go around your head. And if you don't want to use it, you can just keep it around your chin. Don't use it. But it's really nice to have if you're wearing the mask for a prolonged period of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a measurement of where I think it needs to be. So you need it to be stretched a little bit, so it's not got to have some tension. So it's going to be about there, right? Okay. So I'm going to cut the strap right here. Okay, now before I sew this part, right, I want to put this in place. I'm going to do it at an angle too, right? Yeah, so this is going to be at a slight angle. Make sure it doesn't twist. You don't want, make sure you don't want it to twist. And then this one is also going to be at that angle, that same angle. If you don't want to wear it, just let it hang there. Oh God, I'm stabbing myself. But if you want to wear it, it can go above your head like that. And it can hold the mask in place. I love this aspect of the mask. That's my favorite part of the mask. Plus, it's like a hairband. Adding that strap to the mask makes it next level, for sure. My hair's getting all messed up. That's okay. Don't judge me. Let's pin the metal part underneath the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to take these pins out temporarily. The metal's right there at the top. So I want to make sure it's equidistant on both sides. And I want to make sure it bends around the nose. And then I'll flatten it out. And I'm going to pin it into place. Pinning the middle is a little hard because you got to bend your needles, but it's doable. You need to make sure that you have enough room to sew a line above the metal. Okay, there we go. This is going to end up getting tucked under like that. That's the way it's going to be finished. So tuck it under now. Okay. Back it up. Go. Forward. Go. And for this line, you want to get it pretty close to the edge. Okay, now we've hit the metal. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get your foot under there. Make sure you don't hit the metal because you'll break your needle if you do. Okay, finish this end. Tuck it under. Nice. Yeah, now we're sewing. We're going to do another line next to it, and then we're going to go under the metal. So same thing, drop your needle, back it up, and let's go. Feel where you're going to hit the metal. Make sure it's still in the middle. So the metal, my metal starts right there. So now I'm going to start going under the metal. Nice. Up. Right there. Back it up. And you're done. Okay. Not the prettiest stitch I've ever done, but it's pretty cool. Got the metal in there. I'm going to take out my pins. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I've got all this extra fabric here. So take your scissors and just cut off some of this extra fabric, making sure you don't cut into your garment. What you really want to make sure that the fabric is hiding underneath the elastic. And the reason for this is, you know what? It's just purely aesthetic. There you go. This part is going to go around your nose. We've got our other elastic. And now what we want to do is put this elastic along here, along the bottom. Put the elastic underneath the elastic you just sewed into place. And then pin the elastic Same thing on the other side. Tuck it under so it looks nice and finished. Okay. I'm going to cut the elastic. Probably just you want to make sure that it goes underneath the other one. So tuck it under. You can pin that. Cool, this is turning out all right. I love it. So let's sew this now into place. Drop your needle. Back it up. And let's go for it. My elastic is bunching too much right here, so I'm pulling out my needles so I can gather some of the elastic. Okay, nice. Nice. And now we just finish it up. Yeah. Take your pins out. There should be some extra fabric underneath here. You're just going to cut off the extra fabric. All right, we're getting there. Look at that. So you could stop right there if you want to. It's pretty much done. We have one more step, but I'm going to try it on. So the metal fits around my nose pretty well. It's a little further on this side than the other side, but I like the fit. I can breathe really easily. I feel like I have a nice seal around my face. One note. So Some people say that they are suffering from hypoxia if they're wearing masks, but doctors and nurses are working all day long and they're wearing masks, and they're wearing N95 masks that have a fit seal, right? They are fit tested, meaning there's no leaking of air. They do a fit test, which is a very specific kind of test for a mask, and they still are not getting a hypoxia. So that means that masks are safe. They're safe to wear. You aren't going to suffer from a hypoxia. You aren't going to suffer from carbon dioxide poisoning. That's not going to happen with masks. And especially a mask like this one, okay? Because it's breathable. You know, you can breathe through it. We are going to do one more thing, which is we're going to add a filter to this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a line around here, then I'm going to fold it in half and sew another line here. Just one line, so I'll show you. So it'll be 4 lines all together, but 3 of the lines will be connected. It's just 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I'll take the pins out. And then this gets folded in half. Go back and up. There you go. Now we're just going to cut off the seam allowance. And then just work the filter into the mask. And you're going to fit the filter underneath the elastic that you sewed in there. I do want to show you one thing. I've added a little safety pin right here. A little safety pin to hold the filter in place, and that helps a little bit to keep the filter from slipping. And we have one more finishing touch. So there you go. One DIY mask to make your COVID-obsessed homies super jealous. DIY or die. So we did it. Here it is, your DIY or die mask, complete with replaceable filter and security strap. So I'm going to try it on. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, totally. Just fits right up against your nose. Nice seal. Look at that seam. Nice. Beard friendly. COVID approved. I hope you enjoyed watching and that you learned something too. If this video resonated with you, make sure you like, subscribe, share, or comment because I'm eager to connect with more people like you. Maybe you can be like, hey sis, you've got a sewing machine, right? Have I got the project for us? I'm planning to make about one of these videos a month and shorter ones more frequently. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do a screen print on your mask. So let's get this show on the road. Who's with me? Raise your hand. Okay, fine. Look. I know this is my first video, so it's going to take some time to get momentum. But we've got to get moving on this, because I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but shit's hitting the fan out there. Clearly, that's no reason to panic. Freaking out that the world is ending is like putting your car into neutral and revving the engine. It's all this frantic energy and it goes nowhere. Instead, we need to focus on simple, elegantly crafted, nature-inspired solutions to get Spaceship Earth back on course and to get us all back into an equilibrium. So let's get out there and DIY, or else.